A perfectly ordinary day, a quiet suburban street, and a chilling discovery that would baffle investigators for years. This is the story of how a case that went cold was cracked wide open by a single, almost insignificant clue. It all began on a sunny afternoon in 1984. A young woman, let's call her Jane, vanished without a trace after leaving her office. Her car was found a few blocks from her home, locked, with her purse still on the passenger seat. There were no signs of a struggle, no ransom note, nothing. It was as if she had simply evaporated. The police were stumped. They interviewed friends, family, and co-workers. They chased down hundreds of leads, but every single one led to a dead end. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and then years. Jane's case was officially declared cold, filed away in a dusty cabinet, a heartbreaking mystery with no answers. Her family was left in a state of perpetual limbo, unable to mourn, unable to move on. For over 2 decades, the file remained untouched. But then a new detective, driven by a passion for unsolved cases, decided to take a fresh look. He meticulously went through every piece of evidence, every witness statement, every photograph from the original investigation. He spent countless hours poring over the details, hoping to see something his predecessors had missed. It seemed hopeless. Everything had been checked and double-checked, but this detective had a different approach. He wasn't just looking at the evidence. He was trying to understand the context, the tiny details of the environment. And that's when he found it. Tucked away in the corner of a crime scene photograph, almost invisible to the naked eye, was a tiny, crumpled piece of paper on the floor of Jane's car. It had been logged as insignificant trash during the initial sweep. It looked like a discarded corner of a wrapper or a ticket stub. Most people would have ignored it, just like the original investigators did. But this detective, with modern technology at his disposal, decided to have it digitally enhanced and analyzed. The enhancement revealed faded, almost illegible printing. After careful analysis, experts were able to make out a partial sequence of numbers and letters. It wasn't a license plate. It wasn't a phone number. It was part of a serial number from a very specific, limited edition toolset sold exclusively through a mail-order catalog in the early 1980s. This was the breakthrough. It was the needle in a haystack they had been searching for all along. The detective and his team began the painstaking process of tracking down the sales records for that specific toolset. It was a monumental task, given the age of the records. But they were relentless. They cross-references the sales list with individuals who had lived in Jane's neighborhood around the time of her disappearance. After weeks of intense work, they got a hit, a name. A man who had lived just a few streets away from Jane, a quiet neighbor no one had ever suspected. He had a minor criminal record, but had never been on the radar for this case. When police questioned him, the man, now in his late 60s, initially denied everything. But when they presented him with the evidence, the knowledge of the specific tool set he had purchased decades Ago, his composure cracked. He eventually confessed to the entire horrific crime. He had abducted Jane in a moment of impulse, and a piece of paper from a tool wrapper in his pocket had fallen out in her car. A tiny, forgotten piece of trash became the key that unlocked a 20-year-old secret and finally brought a killer to justice. It's a powerful reminder that in the world of investigation, no detail is too small, and justice, no matter how delayed, can still be found. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more incredible true crime stories. See you in the next one.